Wait, this watermelon? Child, let me tell you, there is nothing like a good, juicy watermelon. I am a firm believer that what you put in your body also contributes to your mental health and well-being. So even if I don't get it right all the time, definitely got to make some conscious decisions on what I eat. And plus, it's just so tasty. It's just nutritious. So I like to start off my day with a cleansing juice. It really helps to flush the system out, and it's great for digestion. Really, the first meal of the day should not be something super heavy because it puts too much work on your body. And I want my body to be working at optimal health, so I start off with the juice. And let me tell you, from the first sip, it literally feels like life going down your body. So energizing, great for mental clarity and focus. It also helps me with weight loss. And as a mom, carrying and birthing children, getting back to a place where you feel comfortable in your body can take time. So I'm just so grateful for juicing because it really helps me to do that.
Grand Rising, all my beautiful divine souls. First, let me say that I've tried to record this video so many times, trust me, and it just was not a success. And I probably will insert the videos just so that you can see. I just kept running into issues, like issues with sound, issues, with like the lighting just not being right. And I know you can have like a sense of wanting things to be too perfect, because I'm still learning, but just like, man, a whole day and I feel like I didn't get anything done. But that's okay. Sometimes it's like that. And in the name of not giving up and getting it done, here we are again. But I am always and continuously on this learning process about myself and about the world around me, and continuing to shed parts of myself that just are no longer serving me and allowing me to show up as my best version. I certainly on my journey in the past have related to the anxious attachment style. I, pretty much checked off all the boxes of being anxiously attached due to the trauma I've experienced as a child, from those who were supposed to be caring for me, and even the things that, I kind of, did in my healing process, of not loving myself in that phase of not really loving myself. So I, really related to, just being really anxious in a relationship, always in fear or worry, what the other person was doing, not really feeling secure in myself, having a fear of abandonment at my core, not feeling worthy or good enough. But over the years, like, especially now, I've been able to tackle that and, really just realize that, hey, I am worthy and I am lovable, and I don't have to be in situations or with people who aren't, giving me the love and the respect that I deserve, So with that and healing from those past relationships that kind of mirrored the opposite of the avoidant, I in the past would always tend to get with people who were kind of avoidant in some way. Either they were avoidant or they were like completely narcissistic. So it was always a mix and match. And, this time around, really just trying to be aware of that, I made a better decision. And, both my partner and I, we are both good-hearted people with love at the center of our hearts and God at the center of our hearts. So it really has laid the foundation in our union for continuous growth and evolution within ourselves and also together. But something that I've noticed that has really helped me is to release and let go of the need for expectations. And this is expectations of how you think or view others and how you feel like that they should show up based on your own perceptions and your own values. Now, this is, of course, isn't to say that you should be in a situation where you're being, outright abused or disrespected. But when you know that you're with a great person, I think this is where this comes in. A lot of times we expect people to behave how we would, or say things how we would, or not say things how we would. And what this does is it really kind of puts the relationship in a cage, and it prevents you and that person from moving from a place of freedom. Um, when we're not giving the other person the space to show up and be who they are fully in their authenticity, you know what I mean? And sometimes, we might make assumptions about someone's behavior, or why they're doing this, or why they didn't do this, or why they said that, But you have to remember that they're seeing life from their own lens, you know what I mean? And they're going through their own process of growth and evolution. And we have to be willing to give each other grace and give each other that space to come to our own conclusions so that we can show up for each other in a better way. And most likely it's going to be how you want it anyways. Sometimes the other person, they could be having a bad day, or they could be processing something internal within themselves. You never really know what's going on before you jump to conclusions or make assumptions about why it is they're doing something or not doing something. So I think this really helps us to have a sense of, grace, and just understanding that everyone has their imperfections. And because of this, you can approach it from a place of understanding and having forgiveness for that person and yourself. Sometimes we may want to control the situation, control every little behavior, control every little decision, control the whereabouts. And this is because it makes us feel safe. It prevents us from feeling that fear of abandonment. You know what I mean? But this doesn't do anything but give you the opposite result of what you're actually wanting, which is that close, intimate connection with your other person. So you have to release control, you know what I mean? And approach things from more of an awareness and, a sense of observation, you know what I mean? In the situation. And, a lot of times what happens is when we're triggered, even if we don't have all the facts, even if we do, when we're triggered, we tend to react immediately based on whatever emotion we're going through. And a lot of times this may be an emotion from the past, So when this happens, we have to put a pause, stop it in its tracks. And I know that can be hard sometimes because it's I feel this, and you say, you did this to me, but no one can really do anything to you. It's just happening. And, we're taking this on as someone doing something to us. So what we have to do is really allow ourselves to come back into center, into sort of an even keel, chill energy before we approach the situation. Even if you have to go in another room or just completely separate yourself from that situation, do not react while you're being triggered. And once you do that, you can approach it from a higher perspective, because most likely once you sit with yourself, you're going to feel all these emotions. They're going to arise within you. You're going to want to go and do whatever, but you won't. And then it's going to subside, and then your higher self will begin to speak to you. And then you can approach the situation from a more loving, compassionate space of awareness and a response. And of course, if you're feeling a certain type of way, if you feel hurt or whatever, this is something that you can communicate in love. A lot of relationships might struggle with this, and that is effective communication. And of course, these are all the things that I've had to learn, and I'm still learning, in my union of how to come together and be one. But I think that if you approach the situation from a place of willingness and openness to listen and want to understand the other person, versus from a position of attack, you did this, da da da, and I think that will put the other person at ease and make them more willing to actually hear you out and listen to you. And you can just come together and say, hey, how's your day? What are you going through? This is something you like to talk about. This is what I'm seeing. This is what I'm perceiving. This is how this is making me feel. This is what's coming up for me. And I just want to come to, the middle ground about it. And I think that can be a lot more helpful than just quickly assuming things and placing judgment on things and making assumptions about things that may or may not be true. And, there's always planes. I live near Nassau, so it's always nice. But I don't know if you ever read that book, The Four Agreements. And that book is certainly something that helped me. And one of the points that they talked about in the book is not taking things personally. And this is so important because when you do that, it's like you give your power away and you give your control over the situation away. And I'm not speaking like in control, like trying to control every little thing, but I'm saying this sense of power and control over your own energy. It's like you're allowing the other person to, move you out of any emotional state into chaos and to make you feel sad or depressed or whatever. But, when you don't take things personally, it allows you to stay in this place of just like comfort and assuredness within yourself, to move in that place of awareness. And most likely what's going on usually doesn't have anything to do with you at all. The other person, again, is probably going through their own process. Even if it seems like whatever they're going through is being projected on you, it is not your responsibility to take on these emotions, to take on this identity just because another person is experiencing this. Of course, you can show up with this person having a sense of support and compassion and listening ear and shoulder to lean on if they need it, but you don't take on this person's emotional state. You remain, within your center in your own emotional state. And of course, you can have empathy, but you don't absorb it all. You know what I'm saying? And this will certainly, help you stay more balanced. And once you come together and actually communicate about the thing, you'll actually see like, most likely it wasn't you, they're going through something. Most likely maybe that they weren't aware of whatever they did that came off a certain way, So I think that just really kind of having this like detached non-attachment to whatever is going on around you helps you remain in a sense of peace. And it certainly has helped me because I have come a long way, trust me, with my triggers and my reactions to things. Just haven't gone through so much abuse and haven't been cheated on and just an array of different things. And when you go from that like really toxic relationship style, relating an unhealthy way of relating to each other into a healthy one that you've never had possibly, it can be an adjustment to learn how to navigate these things. You know what I mean? So yeah, and I certainly don't want to take away the importance of whatever it is that you're going through because it's very real and I understand it's important. But I think if we try to think about all the things that you possibly could be going through, you know what I mean? Like there are people out there right now who are losing a child or a family member, who are living on the street, who have a mental illness, who cannot eat, who are literally being physically abused. When you think about it from a broader perspective, I think it allows us to have that much more gratitude for our lives and say, hey, I am not where I used to be. And where I am is much better. I'm going to continue to grow and evolve in this space. Hey, my phone cut off, but you get it. You get what I'm saying. Navigate and move from a place of awareness, love, and compassion for yourself and others.
Cause everything